Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. This is Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Definitely wanted to do our Tuesday weekly podcast with everyone. Today is more of a off the cuff podcast, conversations with a trustee, and we're going to keep it at that because a lot of times, people get into the so called trustee arena, and what happens is people get into the space and there's many questions that are asked about this particular space, how to operate in this space, uh, you know, what they expect in this space, and things of that nature. And we think about, a lot of the things that we've had to walk through, work through as trustees. So many people want to engage in this environment in a light fashion. We could say hit critical mass where people feel that they should be able to do basic tasks, and then we get into trustee training. We find out that these basic tasks, the time management, leadership skills, communication skills, these things they're still vital and important. And then we get to not just time management skills, but task management skills. You're focusing on task management now. You get past task management. You have so many different things that you're managing now as a trustee because whether it's overlooking people, whether it's overlooking property, these are the things that you're thinking about as a trustee. You're thinking about these many things that you're managing. You got to manage yourself. What happens every day when you have to be the most disciplined person that you know, or one of the most disciplined people that you know? That's a different type of thought right there. Well, you got to be disciplined. You got to be the most disciplined person you might know. You got to see yourself differently now when you're talking about trusteeship. So we could talk about it from many different angles because there's so many different people that are our trustees. There are many different types of trustees. Are they good trustees or bad trustees? There's many different types of trustees. They're in the public sector. They're in the private sector. Since there's different type of trustees, everybody's mindset is not the same towards being a trustee. Some people just want to do it for a job. Some people want to do it for a living. Some people want to do it for a career. Some people want to part time do it. Everybody doesn't want to be a trustee. Not everybody wants to do that. Why do that? That seems like a lot of work. Why do that? That's a real task right there. Some people say, "Oh, I relish for that moment to be able to manage my family assets. I'm looking to manage my family assets." You're looking to manage your family assets, huh? Appreciate Eureka, California for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Eureka, California for tuning in live, listening to replay. It seems like, we get these important conversations and calls, when you get important moments. It's one of those moments, we say as a trustee, what happens when your mentor calls you? Do you pick up the phone? What happens to when your mentor says, meet me here? Do you meet them there? I mean, these are the conversations that we're having. Some of the conversations we've had with trustees recently is you gotta get around people that are more successful than you in trusteeship. It's a fact. We're proving it to ourselves more and more every day. But you gotta get around people that are more successful than you in trusteeship. And you gotta pay the Pied Piper. But you don't wanna know what it takes. You don't wanna know that it costs some real money, thousands of dollars. What if you were underwater for 10 years straight? From 24 to 34. Where if you were literally underwater? What if you were underwater for 5 years? Not just 10 years, but 5 years. 5 years. Having to invest in the education for the trustee. The family's having to invest in education. Everything's piling in. You got to get educated as a trustee. So if you got to get educated as a trustee, it might take you 8 years. It might take you 6 to 8 years. It didn't happen overnight that it went into shambles, but the conversations that you're having as a trustee is okay. I got to make it a point to get my stuff together. I got to make it a point to get the family estate together, and I'm gonna give myself a period of time. What if you had a predetermined period that it said if you didn't get to these milestones, we have to shut it down and you have to start all over again. These are the checkpoints that you can have in place for the next generation. If you don't have it at this point, you don't have the rights to have any type of full control as a trustee. There's going to be some people still looking over your shoulder because you haven't achieved certain milestones and victories in the family estate yet. That's all. But we got to have these conversations with the successor trustees so they're aware of that they're not going to walk into a situation where they think that they're going to be you know being able to take out of it for themselves, as they say. There's no takeout for yourself. It's the company funds. You can't touch the company funds. This is what you got to tell them. They're a trustee. It's not theirs. Oh man, my mom and dad, they made me it made me have to go through the hoops to get to manage the money. So I might as well just be a money manager like they were. Conversations with a trustee entail not just the conversations with the successors, but the mentors. What are you talking with your mentor about? We talked to someone. So you got to be proactive. You got to be aggressive. You got to ask the hard questions to your mentors. Those are the people you can confide and trust and ask the hard questions to. And they're not going to consider it a stupid question. They're going to honor your question. They're going to answer your question. That's what's going to happen. When you get around successful people that understand that it wasn't that it was a stupid question in the first place. It was just a question. The mentors, what type of questions are we asking them? What are their habits? Their daily habits? What are their daily, you know, doings? What's their attitude like? How do they handle failure? How do you handle the losses? How do you handle adding on more risk? How do you handle risk? These are the things. What makes you uncomfortable? These are the things that you ask your mentor. We talk about mentors specifically in the field that you're planning on being in for at least a 5 to 10 year plus stint, and you have this individual that's very successful in it that has over 5 to 10 plus years of experience, more for the 20 plus years of experience, maybe 15 too, but for sure, and even having a day more of experience is good, but having a lot more experience and being successful at it is the most important part. Conversations with a trustee comes when you sit in a room and You see a deal come across one of the trustees' desk and they have to present the idea. And them presenting that idea is presenting a deal. And that's the same thing you got to come up with. As a trustee, you got to bring deals to the table. You got to not only get money, but you got to bring deals. People think, oh, I just got to go out and get money. Well, as a trustee, don't you have to get deals? Right? You got to do both. It's not one or the other. Some people think, oh man, I got to get the deals or do I get the money? You got to get both. This is the life of a trustee. No one said it was going to be easy. You think trustees aren't out at networking events, meeting other trustees and contacting and talking to other people? Yes. They understand the people aspect of the business. This is a conversation with a trustee. They got to go out and find other people that could be great candidates to help insulate the company. It's a 24/7 job. It's a 24/7 duty, especially if you're talking about your family estate. If you're the only trustee on duty, then obviously you know what time it is. You on 24/7 duty. You're on 24/7 duty as a trustee over your family estate. People think, oh man, I could maybe take days off. How can you take days off? Your family's supposed to have a yacht, right? So how are you going to take a day off on the yacht when your family's supposed to have a yacht? It's that simple. Is maybe you wait till you get there? Maybe. So the senior trustees, they trained us properly where none of that stuff matters. All that stuff is just stuff to manage. Whether it's a yacht, whether it's mansions, whether it's people, it's all something to manage. And you have to have really sharp management skills today in today's day and age because you're dealing with people, and when you're dealing with people, you got to have good management skills. You got to brush up on your management skills at all costs. Not just your management skills, your people skills, and your money skills. You know, how to negotiate deals. So many people. That it's so many. It's obviously going to be people in business that are going to want to have an aggressive mindset towards negotiating a deal, and there's going to be 80% of the people that don't know how to negotiate deals, and that's a challenging thing because you have to get good at negotiating deals. You have to get good at having these conversations, having tough conversations. There's never an out in the conversation. It's just, oh man, maybe that didn't work. Well, do you have a rebuttal? You have to continue the conversation. It's one of those things. Some people would think that people that are selling their ideas or in these business rooms, having these negotiating conversations, people would think that they're lying. Honestly, they would think like there's no way that you're telling this person that. But it's like, look, so you're sitting on the opposite side of the table asking somebody for money. Every now and then you might fabricate or exaggerate. That's just how these conversations go. You have to make someone. You have to. It's called. You have to be convincing. You have to convince somebody to give you money. So if you're going to convince somebody to give you money for a deal, you got to be convincing in your whole energy. You have to be convincing, and that's just not something that most people are excited about. Most people are not excited about having to be convincing. It seems very manipulative to them. The average individual or most people in general that try to make this conversion, they think that once again negotiations are manipulative. They don't understand it. You have to understand it may be a power struggle, but if you are in control, you got to dominate. And some people don't want to be that dominant. They see that as a sign of uh, overpowering someone else, when in all actuality, you got to think about it. If somebody at the bank has got to give some money out today, right, and all they need you to do is carry a great conversation for an hour, you carry a great conversation for an hour, and literally they give you some money. Oh man, that can't be that easy, and it can't be that hard. That's what's pretty much sit in the room. How long does it take to get some money? You have some conversations with some people preliminary, and bam, you go in there and pitch your idea, and bam, they're gonna make a decision, and bam, they're gonna give you some money. You got to pitch your idea though. You got to pitch your idea with enthusiasm and passion, and in turn, you might stand a chance where it's like, all right, well, we got to pick this person because we got to get some money out anyways. So, and this person was passionate, and you just got to. This is what the mentors told us, and this is what we'll say. You got to give somebody the confidence that you will repay the money back. That's what it comes down to. You got to give somebody the confidence that you're going to repay the money back. And as trustees, that's your whole job anyways, is to make the money back. You're a fiduciary, you got to make the money back. One of the biggest challenges in today's day and age, because you're in the information age and you're a senior trustee, you're looking at the landscape and you're saying, "Oh wow, I got a lot to manage here. We got quite a diversified portfolio." And so when we're looking at our different areas in our portfolio, where do we want to be the most levered at? Where do we want to be thin, but have some exposure? And this is what you see with a lot of these families making this conversion into crypto stuff. Honestly, you see so many families making that conversion into crypto because they're just like, I don't want to miss out on the party if it is a party, and it's like, well, are you too early to the party? And they don't want to hear that, but it's like you're not too late to the party. And so many people think, oh, I'm too late to the party. A lot of the times you can be too early to the party, and even if you're too early to the party, people don't want to hear that. So it's like, okay, fine. So you see some people with exposure in that environment. We don't knock that exposure to your portfolio. We just know that there are many that are allocating capital to that portion of the portfolio. The thing that we see as a senior trustee, from our perspective, is the on the public side, you don't really see a lot of trustees investing in hard assets. You see them investing in intangible assets, equities. You see public managers investing in pretty much the stock market. And then when you get into the private sector, you do see quite a few trustees heavily holding real estate, but there's quite a few times in the private sector where you'll see most of them holding hard assets, whether it's collectible art, diamonds, pearls, jewelry. There is a mixture of real estate, businesses, quite a few businesses, and things of that nature. So when you see that their portfolio is not based off of just, oh, we're a real estate family. Not every family is a real estate family, but so many people think this is like the key to getting wealthy. Is like, is it a key to getting wealthy or is it a key to staying wealthy? Which one is it? And you don't really hear the answer to that question in the public. Um, as a senior trustee, there's many different vehicles that families are using. We actually were reaffirmed on another project earlier about some financing in the private debt markets, that are still very highly sought after. Right now when we talk about the returns, the biggest thing is obviously going to be the returns. The managers are okay with waiting a period of time. They just want the returns. And so when we see that, okay, if the managers want the returns, what's going on here? you know what's going on with people in the public, taking out the easy route, not getting the capital that they need to go into the private sector and take advantage of the bigger returns. And that's what it really comes down to. It's just going and talking, having conversations with different managers, different trustees in different environments, like we say, better environments than you may normally be walking around in on a daily. And so in turn, put yourself in an environment where you're having conversations about trusteeship. You're having conversations about wealth. You're having conversations about money management, about insurance, about these different type of things, because long-term projects wise, so many people in the public are just squandering the wealth, whereas in the private sector they're gobbling and holding on to it. So the biggest thing is how much can you keep. Senior trustees are aware of that. Senior trustees know that. Senior trustees know that it's about moving around for the family. You have to be willing to make that sacrifice. And once you make that sacrifice, you'll see the rewards pay off, because there's a period of time that, over a period of time, it compounds. And trustees know that as well. They know that that's the eighth wonder of the world, that compound interest is a very powerful thing. People say, oh, I want to get into the vault trustee training. What does it really entail? Trustee training involves having a senior trustee sitting there with you in trusteeship, going over how to be a trustee inside private trusteeship, managing assets from that position. You're going to be that individual there sitting in the same room that we're talking about right now saying, well, senior trustee, what do I do in this case, in this case, in this case, in this case, in this case? It's trusteeship, it's trustee training. If y'all would like to reach out and get in trustee training, we do have enrollment right now, Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian@trustchristian.com. People say, I just want to have a conversation with you. So many people reach out to the phone and say, I just want to talk to you. They don't want to do a consultation. They just want to talk. Talk about what? Are we talking about building some type of business together? Because we do go environments. We go in environments and we do make it a point to see if we can do business with other people. That's always got to be the case. As a trustee, you cannot get lax and say, oh, well, I'm just going to sit on the funds that are already there. You have to continue to grow the funds. So let's talk about that. You're going to grow the funds? You got to be dynamic. You got to take risk. You got to improve your risk management skills. How good are your risk management skills? That's what it's all about. Your risk management skills. Your time management skills. The mentors will talk about many different things. Your conversation, your communication skills. Communications is a skill. To be able to talk in front of many people, talk about many points at one time. So many people reach out to the vault and, oh, I just want to have that conversation. Well, you want to have a conversation? Let's have that conversation. You can type into the chat. We're live. What's the conversation that we were supposed to be having that we didn't have previous to you reaching out about a consultation? What conversation are we looking to have here? What conversation is necessary? Or I want to just talk to you about my what? 1099 OID? Or you want to talk about your birth certificate? Like, are we talking about business and trusteeship? Or are we talking about something that has to do with your personal? Oh, I gotta make sure I put my name in a trust. Oh, you gotta put your name in a trust, huh? Okay, that's how. So you're gonna be a trustee over your name because it's still what, your name. But they don't want to talk about that though. Well, if it's my name, when I speak about it and I'm managing it, and right, it doesn't make sense because it's going to keep you in a position where you think about yourself instead of thinking about trusteeship and being a manager and an asset manager, being a good steward. Well, we know what it is. We know what most people want to do. They say they want to be asset managers for their family, but when it comes down to it, you got to step up to the plate. You got not to say you got to be the lone wolf, but you got to know you might be one of the few family members that's on even build trusteeship and be in trusteeship for a while. You have to be okay with that. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not okay with that." We know a lot of people are not okay with that. They feel some type of way that their husband or their wife isn't doing it. That no one else in their family is going to do it. The cousin, even if they're single, they're like, "Man, where my cousins at?" Right. Because we've had people throughout the years go through trustee training with their family. We just had sisters go through the trustee training program together. We got people that go through the trustee training program together. Family members, friends. Why would you not get in trust with your friends? But people don't trust each other. They don't trust each other. You don't trust your friends. Because if you trust your friends, you each have at least about $3,500. You at least have about $4,000. You at least have about $5,000 each. So in case you had to go foundation status, you're like, okay, I'm foundation. We all in the foundation together. We all trustees over a foundation for our community. But what happened to your friends? We got people tell us, oh, my friends are broke. Well, you might need a new set of friends. We're not afraid to tell you that. You might need a new set of friends. Oh man, my friends is broke. How you gonna have friends that are broken trusteeship? When you gonna be able to call them and ask them for a favor? Oh man, you right about that. Right. So now that you're in trusteeship, you gotta act like it. You gotta go to nice things, do nice things. We try to talk to trustees. This is how you know you're not a senior trustee, because you're not doing the nice things. Trusteeship is to afford you a nice lifestyle. You got to do the nice things. Stop doing average stuff. Oh, I'm gonna do average stuff every week, right? And that's why you have an average life. And when you stop doing average stuff on the regular, you can start doing above average stuff on the regular, and then that grows. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Conversations with a trustee. This is just one of those conversations we had to have with some of the seniors, some of the juniors. When we talk about even, you know, where are you putting the capital for the family estate? You know, where are you? Who are you getting around? What are the conversations you having? You know, what conversations are you having daily as a senior trustee? Are you having trustee conversations on the daily, or are you having employee conversations? Are you having conversations about growing, or are you having conversations about nonsense? We got a limited amount of time every single day and the hours in the day. So, as senior trustees, how are we furthering the family estate every day? What conversations did we have on a frequent basis, on a daily basis, to do what? To do what? What do we do? What do we do today for the family estate? Everybody says, "Oh, I'm gonna be a trustee for my family. I'm gonna be a trustee for my kids. My kids gonna be the beneficiary." Right? Your kids are gonna be the beneficiary, and what are you really preparing for them? What are you preparing for your children? Are you preparing them for the estate, or are you preparing the estate for them? There's a difference. Are you preparing them for the estate? Hey kids, this is how you manage this. We're gonna put some things in place. See, it's about having that mentorship program in place. Are you writing that down on a daily basis? We talk about that all the time. Are you recording? Are you writing down the trustee journal to look back and say, during this time, this is what they were doing? They wrote a letter. They went to this gala. They went to this event. They showed us this invitation that they got. They told us the relationships that they connected with. This is amazing. They left us a story to read. That's the difference between the senior trustees that come to the trustee training program that understand and get the training on a more intense level. Understand, I gotta pass along something, and I gotta do it in a manner in which I'm gonna make it digestible. 30 years of experience digestible in less than 3 years of a college degree. Why? Because they're just gonna read these journals. They're gonna read these manuals that we've created internally for our family over a 30-year period, and they're gonna read this as they're coming up as a kid. Then when they finally get asked the choice, which way are you going? They're going to tell you, I'm here with you. I want to do what you do. I've already heard the stories. That's the difference. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. This is Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace and joy.